So 2026 has to be the year of the Ultras in India, and I think that the Xiaomi 17 Ultra has to be the most underrated one. You know what, right now the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, for the price that it is selling and for what it offers, it seems to be the most sensible Ultra that one can buy. And Arnav has actually been daily driving it for the past 60 days, and 60 days later, he still kinda digs it. So what I'm gonna do is, consolidate all of the thoughts that we've had as a team using this phone and give you our, detailed perspective on it. So let's go. Xiaomi 17 Ultra, 60 days later. If you're watching me for the first time, I'm Aishad. This is Trakin Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. See, design of a phone is not always about how it looks, because the Xiaomi 17 Ultra looks good by default. You know what? It's actually more about how the phone feels to live with every day. And with the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, my biggest anxiety going in was this camera module. Since the camera modules used on an Ultra phone generally have a massive glass at the back, when you place them flat on a surface, they are notorious for picking up a lot of scratches. But that's not really true for the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, because you get Corning Gorilla Glass 7i just for that camera module. And you know what? It's actually held up really well, and I don't see any scratches in 60 days. In fact, the entire body itself has remained pretty sturdy. And you know what? The camera module's size and the placement itself is pretty inoffensive, primarily because despite using a 1-inch sensor and a periscope camera with a moving lens, it doesn't jut out too much from the rear, and therefore it can slide into any jeans pocket without any drama. In fact, it sits right at the center, so your index finger finds the bottom of the camera module very easily, so you can rest your finger on it and use it, which is very nice. And you've got micro curved edges on that all aluminum frame, so holding it and using it is very, very nice. Honestly, this is one of the nicest feeling, Ultra phones in the hand. But you know what? The back is actually aerospace grade fiberglass and not actual glass. It might feel like cost cutting, but for an Ultra phone with very large sensors inside it, I think that this is probably a good decision, primarily because when you compare it to something like the Vivo X300 Ultra or the Find X9 Ultra, the Xiaomi 17 Ultra is much lighter and you can genuinely feel it. Yes, the S26 Ultra is even lighter compared to the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, but it has a smaller battery and much smaller sensors. You know what? The context of looking at things is very important. Very, very important. For context, many people watch our videos but don't end up subscribing. What's happening with that, guys? Go ahead. Everything else is of course flagship grade. You get IP69 rating, you get USB 3.2, you get round volume buttons with satisfying tactile click. I kinda like that design language. My only gripe is that the power button and the volume buttons sit very close to each other, and I have very pudgy fingers, so sometimes I end up pressing both of them together or unintentionally pressing the wrong one. As for the design and build, I'll say it's functional, it's also well thought out, but yes, a glass back would have definitely made it feel more premium. Now, cameras are the reason why the 17 Ultra is actually an Ultra because of two major reasons. Firstly, it's the world's first 1-inch sensor phone with a low fix sensor, and more importantly, if you go into the market looking for a phone with a 1-inch sensor, you might not find anything, definitely not an Ultra. And secondly, it's got the world's first 200 megapixel continuous optical zoom camera. Yes, you can zoom from the focal range of 75mm to 100mm. It's a fantastic setup, no doubt, because apart from these two sensors, you also have a 50MP ultra wide angle camera, and at the front, again, you've got a 50 megapixel selfie camera too. Now, low light is where the 1-inch sensor really flexes, because shooting a subject against harsh backlight, the kind of scenario that exposes every weakness in a smaller sensor, this phone handles it with the level of control that honestly surprised me. Low fig is something that I feel that all other Ultras should definitely adopt. It's an insane technology. We've taken a bunch of low fix shots. At the moment you look at the low fix shots, you can tell that this is worth it and that this looks like a DSLR replacement. I'm not saying it is, but it looks like one. But my personal favorite with the Xiaomi 17 Ultra's camera experience has to be the Leica filters. I mean, they're awesome because you've got the black and white high contrast and sepia filters, which feel surprisingly authentic. There's a warmth and character to these shots that makes you actually want to shoot more. Now, when you look at the color science of these, of course, they're stylized, they're not clinical, but you can also switch to Leica Authentic. The only thing to note is that the Leica Authentic does have that vignetting around the corners, but it still looks pretty good. And you can, of course, tweak the colors in post if you want to. That's nice. Portraits, again, Xiaomi's done a very good job of improving the portraits, especially with the edge detection and the bokeh drop-off. But they do still tend to brighten the skin tones slightly in portrait mode specifically, and the selfies also have the same issue. Something that you should be aware of if you're not a big fan of brightened skin tones. Zoom, like I said, you can go from 75mm to 100mm. That's generally around 3x to 4x, like continuous optical zoom, so which means anywhere in between as well, like for example 3.1x or 3.2x, you really get good quality photos. Beyond 100mm, like up to 10x and all is fine, but beyond beyond that, sometimes AI takes over. But you know what? All the Ultras use AI to upscale their zoom images, but Xiaomi does it the best if you ask me. It's very restrained and it doesn't make artificial zoom images, which is something that I really like. So they don't go overboard with the AI. In fact, you can also switch off the AI if you don't want. Video recording has been solid throughout in our experience as well, and it can compete with the iPhone 17 Pro Max too, if not beat it. See, the 17 Ultra's cameras are fantastic. They are proper ultra grade. So it's a very good setup, and if you're going to be using the cameras, you're definitely going to enjoy using it, especially because of the Leica partnership, especially because of that 1-inch sensor, especially because of low flick, especially because of the continuous optical zoom. Performance in general has been great, but I'll be honest, it's not been all flawless here. Basically, you get the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 paired with 16GB of LPDDR5X Ultra RAM and 512GB of UFS 4.1 storage. There are Ultra phones that launched with 12GB of RAM as well, so that's something that you have to keep in mind because the pricing is fantastic on the 17 Ultra. Now, when you put all of this together, daily usage is effortlessly smooth. Scrolling, multitasking, switching between heavy apps, all of it feels instant. And when you're looking at Antutu scores or Geekbench scores, they're on par or at least on par with what the other Ultra phones achieve. Where I noticed some cracks were in extended gaming or in camera usage. So running Wuthering Waves and Arknight's Enfield at 60 FPS for 30 minutes gave us an average of 55.8 and 59.3 FPS respectively, which is genuinely good. But temperatures climbed to 42 degrees or 43 degrees Celsius during these sessions, which is still fine because it's under 45 degrees, so it only gets slightly warmer than normal. But the camera heating up faster than expected during longer, video shoots is something that I wanted to flag, so you need to keep that in mind. Now, we also tested the network with Jio and Airtel both inside it. It runs flawlessly. Again, no problem there. Another thing is the eSIM support. You do get it with the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, and it's a nice bonus, especially if you travel a lot. But that's generally true for most Ultras anyway. Now, battery life is one area where the 17 Ultra genuinely surprised me, and I would say not in a very good way. See, you get a 6000 mAh silicon carbon cell, which is good, but in real world, we were getting a screen on time of about 6 to 6.5 hours. That's respectable, I would say, but given the size, I was expecting a little bit more. But you do get a 100-watt charger, and Xiaomi includes it in the box, which is something that you must appreciate. I mean, for all the brands that include a charger in the box, thank you for doing it. Don't go the Apple, Google, and Samsung way. This is better. So of course, with that 90-watt charger, you can charge the 6000 mAh battery in under an hour, so it can top up really fast. So that's nice. And you also get 50-watt wireless charging support. Of course, you will have to buy the 50-watt supported, wireless charger separately. Performance is fine for the most part. There are strong fundamentals here, like the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 LPDDR5X Snapdragon UFS 4.1 6000 mAh battery. But the thermal concerns and of course, the battery life quirks are something that you must keep in mind. Otherwise, good job. If cameras are where the Xiaomi 17 Ultra earns its badge, display is where it completely shows off. Xiaomi has always pushed the boundary when it comes to display. So what you get here is a 6.9-inch Hyper RGB OLED panel, and it's stunning to look at. Again, you also get very slim bezels. The screen estate is very good. And the best part is that it's a proper 12-bit AMOLED panel, not 8-bit plus FRCC to achieve 10-bit. You know what I mean? And especially on a 12-bit panel, which can go up to 3500 nits of peak HDR brightness. When you're watching Dolby Vision content on Netflix, the gradients look stunning. The colors look fantastic. There's a lot of depth on the display. It looks like a very expensive OLED TV display. It's very well tuned. And Xiaomi's HDR gradation is generally flagship grade, even in the mid-range segment, by the way. You of course also get LTPO, which means that 1 to 120Hz is possible. There's 2160Hz of PWM dimming. You also get Xiaomi Shield Glass 3.0, which Xiaomi says has 3x better drop resistance compared to Xiaomi 15 Ultra's Xiaomi Shield Glass. And you know what the best part is? That it is actually a good solution because there are very few micro scratches to show for in our 60 days of usage, which is something that we always try to look at when we use a phone for long term. The haptic feedback tuning is fantastic. You also get an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner. The speaker sounds loud, it sounds rich, and it sounds very detailed. It is doing a very good job, and the Dolby Atmos support is definitely coming in handy here. Take a listen to it right next to the Vivo X300 Ultra and the Find X9 Ultra and let me know which one you actually prefer. Now, software is where we need to be slightly more nuanced. Alright, so let's talk. See, HyperOS on the 17 Ultra is packed with a lot of features. You get customizable lock screen, Hyper Island, AI writing, AI interpreter, AI Erase Pro, Xiaomi's ecosystem connectivity features where you can even connect to Apple devices. You use the MacBook's fingerprint reader to unlock the phone, which is something that I don't see any other brand doing. Apart from that, you've got AirDrop compatibility with Apple devices, which is true for most Android phones now. You've got Circle to Search, you've got Gemini support. It's a long list and most of it genuinely works really well. It's class leading in terms of feature set if you ask me, and that lock screen customization is also very, very good. But I do have a couple of quirks that I want to highlight. Is that subjectively I feel like the UI design overall could be slightly more refined. That's just my opinion though. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And occasionally when I would swipe down on the home screen to bring up the app finder, like right now it's showing the keyboard, but sometimes it won't. But I have to say this, the Indian version of HyperOS that we get is genuinely much better than the international HyperOS version out there, which is nice because there are no pre-installed bloatware apps. There are third-party apps, but no bloatware apps. There's also no get apps cluttering the drawer out of the box. It has a better starting point than its reputation suggests, truth be told. I feel like it's just a couple of updates, away from being one of the most refined operating systems out there. So is the Xiaomi 17 Ultra the most value for money Ultra phone out there? I asked every single team member, including Arnav, that used this phone, and they unanimously said yes. And the reason is pretty straightforward. You are getting the world's first Leica 1-inch sensor camera system with low-fig, world's first 200 megapixel continuous optical zoom camera at a very good price point, which you can see on the screen right now. Now, the compromises like the fiberglass back, moderate battery life, and the occasional software bugs are something that you can live with. I feel they're manageable. They're not like, device breaking or anything or decision breaking. What you're getting is a proper Ultra experience without the Ultra price guilt. Initially, when the phone launched, everybody's like, oh, this is expensive. But now looking at the market, it's not really that expensive. Now, do you think that this is an overlooked Ultra and it deserves more attention than it's currently getting? I think very strongly. By the way, one very interesting thing that I want to mention is that the Xiaomi 17T is also just around the corner. Of course, officially, they've mentioned that it's launching on June 4th, but that's a phone that I'm really excited to see because the specs look very interesting. I really want to see what the pricing is like, considering 2026 has been terrible with pricing and Xiaomi actually has done a fairly decent job with the pricing of their phones this year. Maybe, just maybe, things might change. Let's wait and watch. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.